It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, fight fans? What's up, combat sports community? What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well on this September 4th, Thursday. Hold on. Let me lower the brightness. I got these bright lights in my face, but it's not going to be too bright for Long Island's own The Barbarian, Freddie Vidal, come next week. Dana White Contender Series. Let me get this up for you. Yeah, shout outs to Freddie. Shout outs to everybody who made this possible. Let me get all right, still getting good at this StreamYard. But yeah, shout outs to Freddie Vidal, signed with the Dana White Contender Series. He will be fighting September 9th. I believe he's the middle fight on the 5-fight DWCS Week 5 card. That should be, if it kicks off at 8, and I think it goes to about 10:15. That would mean Freddie's fighting around 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, but very pumped for Freddie. Great guy, hard worker, teacher, coach, professional fighter, and now all the pieces and parts of his career are coming together. Very excited for Freddie. Can't wait to see him hop in the octagon for his first time, fighting in front of course, Dana White, Mick Maynard. Not sure if Sean Shelby is there, but I know Dana and Mick are always in the mix. So how you guys doing? A lot of news since I recorded last week. I jumped on to give you guys some breaking news with the UFC 322 at MSG. We had the Carlos Pratas, Leon Edwards, and then probably arguably one of the biggest fights in women's MMA history between Weili Zhang and Valentina Shevchenko. That's also at MSG. That is the co-main event to what is, in my opinion, Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre 2.0, JDM, Jack Maddalena. I think I butchered it. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. It's sure to be a spectacular night of fights. I believe November 16th or 15th. It's going to be sandwiched with a weekend with the Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight. I'll get into that in a few minutes. I'm going to try to give you guys an expedited pod, run through some big events. What unfolded this past weekend, it was a non-UFC weekend, but we still had fights on display. We had CGI in the grappling world. We had dirty boxing. And we also had the Misfits card, which probably garnered the most attention with Darren Till, Luke Rockhold, Dylan Dennis, Tony Ferguson. So a solid weekend. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. The UFC is back in the mix this weekend. UFC Paris, we have Caio Bahayo versus, Nasruddin Imavov, and then a spectacular co-main event, BSD, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffi. Two spectacular fights, surely to be, I don't know. You can't ask much more for, if you're in the French market, to have, Cyril Gane has headlined several cards at UFC Paris. What do you fight? Tai Tuivasa a couple of years ago. Was it Alexander Volkov in a main event? But now you see the other French fighters starting to take control of the market. Imavov and BSD. And I would love to see Cedric Doumbé wearing UFC gloves, but hopefully PFL can give him the platform and the opportunity to build his own legacy and then maybe get some cross promotion fights with the UFC. But very excited for this middleweight unofficial Grand Prix that's been taking place. But I want to start with what happened this past weekend that got the most attention, which was Raja Jackson going on a kick stream for like 12 hours or something like that, and went to a local pro wrestling event. Um, the cruel, disturbing, gruesome video in a second. If you guys not aware, Raja Jackson, I'm pretty sure this broke mainstream sports news, but Raja Jackson, son of Rampage Jackson, was streaming on this new platform called Kick, which they don't do 30-minute podcast or 1 hour podcast. They do 6, 12, 24-hour streams. And it's really like a, I don't know. I don't think you could get more personal than a 12-hour stream. I mean, if Kick wants to pay me the money to film myself for half a day, you guys can see me shit, shower, shave, uh, maybe exercise, and do some media stuff. But yeah, it might be pretty boring. But with that, 25-year-old who has no kids, I assume no significant other. I'm talking about a wife that he has to take care of. It's just him, 25, fuming with energy, and he goes to a local pro event, and the I'll pull it up right now. Yeah, he goes to a local pro wrestling event. It results in this. It results in him beating the living crap out of a fighter called Psycho Stu. Let you guys see this a couple more times if you have not seen this. And then I'll pull this down one more in case you guys want to see. This is about 20 punches being landed on a defenseless person at a pro wrestling event, not an MMA event. Okay. We have seen it. Removing it. Let's see if I can get the still of it. Where is it? Screenshot. Where do I have it? Do I have it? I had it somewhere. Where is it? Oh, why can't I see? Oh, it's because a file that doesn't freaking line up with the. Well, I could do this then. Let me add that back and let me pause it right there. So you guys get the point. I can't believe that I've heard, and you guys are welcome to jump on the comments. I cannot freaking believe the people that are saying there are a lot of people to blame for this, that he was getting worked up to do a work. The people said, "Oh, you'll get yours on the comeback. Don't worry, you'll do your damage when you get in the ring." And people are saying, "Well, they pumped up the 25-year-old MMA fighter, and what did you expect at a pro wrestling event?" You're literally going to this event with a cameraman live on a stream because of attention, because you're not going to a soccer game or a high school football game. You're going to a pro wrestling event because you know this will generate views. And his father, who has been in combat sports since he's been alive, even before he's been alive, 30 years, 25 years. Raja has grown up in this world. You're telling me he cannot separate the two between WWF or WWE or pro wrestling event and mixed martial arts? You're telling me that this 25-year-old thought he was really going to step into the ring with jeans and shoes and a shirt on, no gloves, no sanctioned hand wraps, easily lifts up Psycho Stu because Stu was, what's it called? Working it working the event, allowing Raja to grab him, hoist him over his head, and slam him down. Yeah, I think people are not giving Raja enough credit for being somewhat intelligent, that he knew what the hell he was stepping into. It's kind of disrespectful. They're treating him like an idiot. And I'm talking about big time hosts that are saying it's bad people on both sides. There's the other side to blame. No. Raja knew exactly what he was doing. He has fought multiple times, sanctioned events. Again, he's been around combat sports his entire freaking life. His father, who is one of the funniest personalities, who can really put on a character. If you guys have ever heard or seen Rampage Jackson on Ariel Helwani's show, it's pure entertainment. Like, they have the long running spat where Rampage calls him the beta, and you know what we do to betas, you beta man. And then it turned into like post fighting career where they have this really great back and forth. Rampage Jackson acted in movies. Rampage Jackson also fought at the highest level in mixed martial arts. So Raja has seen his father be a UFC champion. What is that? 2008, 2009, when he knocked out Chuck Liddell, or maybe a few years prior, 06, 07. He's seen the belt, and I'm sure he's seen his father's handiwork on video. He's seen the slams in Japan when Rampage fought for Pride. And then he gets to see the cuddly bear that is Rampage outside of fighting. I've been lucky enough to talk with Rampage. I continued that shtick that I saw with Ariel, where the smaller media guy busts the balls of this scary MMA guy who could literally rip you limb for limb, like a 28 Weeks Later movie. Go see it. It's a pretty good movie. 28 Years Later. Yeah, Rampage gets it. Rampage knows when to turn it on, turn it off. And from all accounts, was a very cool father. You know, a father that did not shy away from showing his kids the world. You know, didn't sugarcoat anything. Rampage obviously had a very tough life growing up in Memphis, and fighting was the outlet. He probably could have been a D1 wrestler, but he chose to jump into MMA. I don't even think he has a blue belt yet. And it just showed you that he applied himself to the complete arsenal that comes with being a mixed martial arts fighter. And it took him around the world, brought him great success. And that has poured over to a career, or what was a career, for his son, Raja Jackson. And my point of bringing up Rampage's background and his personality is that I think a lot more onus for the situation needs to be put on the shoulders of Raja Jackson. It's very disrespectful to say that a 25-year-old, not an 18-year-old, not a 16-year-old or 14-year-old, somebody who, again, has been around mixed martial arts at its highest level. His father is a UFC champion. He has fought and competed himself. And to think that the young man, 25-year-old man, could not separate the two and putting the blame on some cowboy in the back, or Stu hit him with the bottle, apologized, shook his hand on camera on Raja's stream. This is all filmed. This is why it's crazy. And yet no sentence has been handed out. Unbelievable. And I don't know if Rampage knows somebody who's keeping his son out of jail. It doesn't appear that way. Rampage seems utterly disappointed in his son. He said it on the Helwani show, like, I don't know what the hell's up with my son. Like, I haven't talked to my son. He's kind of confused by the whole situation as well. Like, because Rampage's like, dude, I've been doing works on you my whole life. Like, I'm a teddy bear. Like, don't don't be confused by a stern father and the fighter that you've seen on the mantle. Like, you took it to a level that nobody should ever take it to. Rampage seems like, oh, like where the hell did he make a wrong turn as a parent? And a lot of people are questioning Rampage's parenting, and he was a bully to his older son. I think that's a stretch. I think Raja just got carried away, took it to a level that we should never see these things taken to, where blurred the line of reality and a work, as I'm learning in the pro wrestling world. So very freaking upsetting. And I do believe Rajah Jackson should serve some time. Sean Strickland came out and said that jail will do nothing. Like, he went to jail for 6 months, or could have went to jail, and thank God he didn't, because it would have made him worse. Trust me, Raja isn't going to Pelican Bay or Rikers Island, but he needs some isolation and time to think about what he's done. I really believe that. Um, a house arrest. I mean, what would a house arrest look for Rajah Jackson? Like, you have an amazing TV, couch, streaming abilities, your father's Rampage. Like, he's gonna be hard on you, but he's gonna have you training at the house. Like that. That to me, and Rampage is probably half the time out of the house doing signing events or going to do his Jackson podcast, which is amazing. Um, so I don't think that would uh fit the crime that happened. And Psycho Stu is now out of the hospital. Some teeth were missing. Obviously, just brain bleed, concussion. These are like the movies when you see the camera cut away and they're like, "Doosh, doosh," and you see like an angered a guy who you're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was in. I didn't know you were capable of that." When they're just like, "Doosh," and then the blood's like squirting on their face. Like, that's what this reminded me of. Like, this was a real life. Like, oh shit, this is what it looks like when a guy just keeps wailing on a lifeless body. So I don't know why it's taking so long. Are the judges on freaking Labor Day vacation still? Unbelievable. Horrible situation, and it got spotlighted a lot more because it was on a weekend that there was no UFC. Moving on, some way, somehow. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, November 15th, I believe that is. My mistake if I'm screwing up the dates. It might be the 14th or 15th, or maybe there's a leap year in between. But Jake Paul returns for another controversial fight. Last time it was, why are you fighting a 58-year-old Iron Mike Tyson? What the hell is this? I don't care how many steroids Jake Paul is on. I am completely against this fight. This is upsetting. Why is this being sanctioned in Texas? Then the fight happens. Nobody gets really punched in the face. It almost seemed like there was a gentleman's agreement. Maybe it was an actual fight, and Jake Paul was just shook from the presence that is Mike Tyson. They sold out Dallas Stadium, 90,000 people, huge accomplishment. The UFC hasn't even sniffed a big time stadium of that size, not even close. And Jake Paul and Mike Tyson and Netflix pulled it off. All credit, respect to Jake Paul. He returns this November, almost a year to the freaking day, against Tank Davis, who we saw his fight against Frank Roach. Oh, am I screwing that up? Who did Tank last fight? I think it was Lamont Roach, excuse me. Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach, which very controversial ending. Did Gervonta Davis take a knee? Did he not? A lot of people were excited to see that rematch. What adjustments could each fighter make? But that will not happen. Tank Davis will get a gigantic payday. You assume that he's making at least 10 to 20 million in this fight. Jake Paul again will make another 20 million. Great job by MVP Promotions. This fight will take place on Netflix once again. He's fulfilling his Netflix contract and some. Hey, maybe 2026 we get Conor versus Jake Paul in a boxing match, which I would absolutely sign up for and absolutely love. throwing the Sheiks, throwing the UFC, Dana White on one side, Ariel Helwani on another. Man, I think that would be an absolute banger event. You can go back to Dallas Stadium easily, put it on Netflix. Gigantic fight. What Jake Paul does better than anybody is get attention. What do they call this? Troll farming or something? There's like a term where I don't know, people say where he's just rage farming. He can get people outraged or some crap like that. Jake Paul gets your attention. He gets you to watch. I don't care. If you really, really, really want to get back at Jake Paul, don't tune in. Don't be one of the 150 million people that are going to watch this fight. Turn it off that Friday. Never click the stream. Go for a long walk that Friday night on Netflix. But you will watch. So, yeah, critique the fight. Break it down. Who do you think is going to win? In my opinion, this is the newer version of Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. You're going to have the much more skilled technician boxer, Gervonta Davis, in case you didn't know where I was going with that, against Jake Paul, like his brother Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul was more of a gorilla where he wailed those punches, didn't have much technique behind him when he was chasing Floyd around. People are saying Jake Paul is a much better boxer than Logan. Okay. Then let me also counter that Gervonta Davis is about 15 years younger in this fight than when Floyd Mayweather fought Logan. And yes, Gervonta Davis weighs in at 135 pounds. That's not what he's going to be on fight night. I would like to see a weigh-in clause where Jake Paul has to be 180 the day before. So what if he blooms up to 200? At least he touched 180. Let's see Gervonta Davis use that freaking weigh-in clause, dehydration clause that he used on Ryan Garcia a couple of years back. And shout outs to Flex. I got to watch that fight at a Flex event. Great job by TJ Ragusa and Chris Machi for always putting on spectacular local events. Love to see it. But I believe Tank Davis will be around 160 pounds. As we are hearing and seeing with Terrence Crawford, who fights Canelo Alvarez next week, I'll do another live stream. I believe Terrence was mentioning something about being north of 180. And Terrence is somebody who fought at 147. So him going up to 180, 185, and then cutting down to the 168, he's going to be just fine against Canelo. He'll be able to take the punch. He'll have enough. What did John Jones say about Adesanya? He said Adesanya was light in the pants. Terrence Crawford will have enough meat in the seat to withstand any punches that Canelo Alvarez tries to hurl his way. And I believe the same with Tank Davis. Tank Davis will be 155, 160 going against Jake Paul, which, again, I would love to see Jake Paul have to weigh in at 180, 185. I know he does the 189 constantly, but can we do the 180, 185? It is a circus fight. It is a fun fight. It's going to bring in a lot of attention. Another man who brings in a lot of attention is Dylan Dennis.
To take Spencer down, who's a very good striker. I like that attempt there from Warren. And again, you don't grapple with a grappler, though. This is going to go again.
Anybody who gets close to that Conor McGregor aura, like Artem Lobov, becomes the GOAT. Artem was the GOAT, but now Dylan Dennis is the GOAT. I would love to see Dylan either step up his grappling matches competition or UFC throw something at him on a PBS card. Something. I don't want to see Dylan Dennis on the, what do you call it, Dana White Contender Series. No offense to that platform, but somebody like Dennis' stature is a lot more to lose. Hey, credit to Kimbo Slice for jumping on the Ultimate Fighter. Dylan Dennis was also talking about being asked to be on the Ultimate Fighter, which would have been cool. He would have seen a lot of personality. But if that's not going to happen, if Dylan Dennis isn't, I mean, Dylan Dennis should have been on the season that Conor McGregor was the coach. It was right there. I don't know why it didn't happen, but regardless, another fight that happened. The main freaking card of this event with Dylan Dennis was Darren Till freaking folding Luke Rockhold, which was a shocking and devastating knockout combination. Wow. It was brutal. It was brutal. I'll let it loop one more time. But Darren Till, he fought that influencer, and then he fought Darren Stewart, a former UFC fighter, in his last boxing match. Now he fights a former UFC champion. He's climbing towards that Jake Paul fight. I would love to see Till versus Jake Paul early 2026. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Get it done, Darren. Get it done. MVP Promotions. And a man who couldn't make weight. What was it? UFC 319 in Chicago is now making weight for Dirty Boxing. Gets the win. Obviously was in tremendous shape. Was training for a UFC fight. Gets the win. All the fight. All the fight. It's over. It's over.
Come on, you gotta get up.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's over.
You're not allowed to hold them down with your legs like that.
Nope.
I know I'm zooming through these topics. Let's see. All right, UFC Paris on Saturday. I believe it should be an early start. It should be around 2 p.m. Eastern time. We got, who do we got? What's up, Nestor Montavo? What's up, Diego? What's up, Czech? Felicia? What's up, y'all? Thank you guys for joining. Hey, Milan. My dude, appreciate you, what you're doing with my boy, Justin Montavo. God bless you guys. Good luck, whatever lies ahead. Maybe Dana White Contender Series. Let's go, Milan. Get it done. But UFC Paris this weekend. Very excited for the top two fights. Nasruddin Imavov versus Kai Bohayo. We last seen and Imavov, talk about the UFC feeding him home field advantages. He fought Abu Dhabi, what was it, Israel Adesanya in February. Obviously destroyed Adesanya, looked phenomenal. The best we've seen him striking. We know that he's a strong wrestler, but being in that French striking kickboxing history, it's osmosis into his skill set, and he's looked phenomenal. Going into this fight, when I first heard it was announced, you guys don't understand how much I love and respect Kai Bohayo, the leader, the captain of the Fighter Nerds, undefeated, supreme jiu-jitsu, like slick striking, almost like another version of Lyoto Machida, where, Machida was good on the ground, could hang, but Bohayo is, I think he's decorated with his jiu-jitsu background. He might be a world champion or competed in world championships when it comes to jiu-jitsu, but his striking is phenomenal, has that powerful left, very in and out, doesn't hang in the pocket, but very slick. The factor that I don't like, which is scaring me from picking Kai, is the fact that he cut weight 2 weeks ago to be a backup fighter for Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis, UFC 319's main event. Didn't like to see that. We all know the horror story that Tony Ferguson went through back in 2020, where he cut down to 155, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, almost the same timeline as Kai, fought Justin Gaethje. And that was the beginning of the end for Tony Ferguson, where he completely entered the back nine of his career. And I'm not saying Kai is done or going to retire, but he might lose his O. You're already an underdog because you're fighting on the road in somebody's backyard. Why? I mean, I get it. It's a paycheck. You don't have to get punched in the face. You make weight. You go to Chicago, hydrate on some deep dish, and electrolytes, and you go back to your training camp. But how much does that affect you being around a crowd, having the nerves of cutting weight, and how much percentage did that take out of you to now kind of quickly reset and jump back in? Maybe 1 week left of a hard training camp. I don't like it. I like him evolve, taking the victory. Can Kai make it to decision? Good chance. Yes. I don't think he's going to get stopped. So I like Imavov winning a 5-round decision. And I got to go in a couple minutes. The co-main event, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Rufy. Love this fight. Freaking, you talk about a banger and a half. This fight is going to be, whoopsies. How do I zoom in again? There we go. Give me that close up. Mauricio Rufy, another one of those just amazing fighting nerds going against the hometown kid in Benoit Saint Denis. You better believe the UFC are expecting fireworks in Francois, and I expect Rufy to get the job done. And it's very cool how the teammates travel together to fight a nerds. You see John Silva, Carlos Prates, Mauricio Rufy, Kai Bohayo. They pair up, maybe 3 of them on a card. This time it's Mauricio and Kai. It's going to be tough sledding for Kai, but I believe Mauricio Rufy gets the victory. Yeah. You can bet your pesos, your shekels, your yen, your dollar bills, all on that. And that's it. How was that? 30-minute stream? You guys like that? You guys like that more than the hour 15? I fired my co-host. No, I'm just kidding. I think Adam is just chilling out, enjoying that. I don't even know what he's doing. I just see him posting food on his Instagram. But thank you guys for joining the stream. You guys know I love and appreciate the feedback, the support. Keep doing yous. I'm going to keep doing me's. And don't knock out somebody on a pro wrestling live stream. All right? That's today's lesson. Peace.